Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. On today's show, I'm bringing you your first time sex preparedness guide. Might not be the most magical night of your life, but I'm telling you everything you need to know to make it the first time a little less sucky, and also answering your emails. Thanks for listening. By now, y'all know me pretty well. You know I love new experiences, but I have my favorite things that I always come back to because I know I can trust them. I can't think of a better example than the magic wand. If you've been listening, you might remember that I actually had a hole drilled in my nightstand, so my magic wand was always plugged in and ready right when I needed it. That's a pretty big commitment. And I thought it was pretty ingenious. But anyway, before you go destroying your furniture, consider this. The trusted magic wand is now available in a rechargeable version, delivering all that power of the original plus the mobility of a completely cordless design. The Magic Wand Rechargeable also features 4 intensity levels and 4 great vibration patterns. For more than 30 years, a trusted Magic Wand from Vibratex has been just about everyone's go-to massager, from its perfect size to the high-quality construction and materials. It's no wonder why the Magic Wand is considered the Cadillac of all vibrators. If you don't own one yet, don't live without the Magic Wand another day. And if you do own one, you need to try the rechargeable. Go to sexwithemily.com and click on the Magic Wand banner to order yours.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com, where you know what you should do? Oh my God, you should totally subscribe to the podcast. It's so easy. There's a little subscribe button, has my face on it, then you can find it. And you know what happens then is that you get 2 shows a week easily, wherever you listen, on your phone. And then you never miss another episode, which would be a bummer. Right, Anderson?
Such a bummer. Yeah.
Bummer.
It's just so easy. They just pop up, bang, and they're virtual too. It's not like they're taking up space on your phone.
They don't take up space like the YouTube songs that YouTube put on your iPhone.
If
it's
you're
not
like
that.
getting a free subscription to like the newspaper of your choice, sexual newspaper that doesn't take up any weight on your front lawn.
Exactly.
It's
You have
just
to
there
look
if you
at it
want
every day because you didn't read it like I used to get the New Yorker. Exactly. Just like that. You could choose to download it and listen, but that's what happens. So you don't miss it. Like we did one a few weeks ago. Dating after divorce. That was a good show we did. And one of your tips was don't date the bartender, which was got a lot of laughs in my office.
It's true. The bartender.
Why not date a bartender?
Right above the hairdresser and right below the stripper.
Right, exactly, which was interesting because we've had a lot of talks about that. So check out that one. We've done a lot of good shows lately. It's been fun. And thanks everyone for also just for listening to the show and following the show, because we were like number 6 in iTunes last week, which is very exciting.
6 overall.
6, man.
That's
I know.
big.
It was really exciting. And it's been a good week. It's been busy. I'm excited for the weekend. What about you, Anderson? What are you up to? Oh, have we talked about the fact that you're having a baby yet?
I think so, yeah. We mentioned it on the last show. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm still really excited.
I'm gonna
when are we
get
going to find out
happy.
if it's a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
Are you going to find out? Or are you one of those couples you're not going to find out?
You know what? You don't know any of these things, how you're going to be, until you're actually
Right. And now
get
you're
the
like,
pregnant. So I used to think like, it'd be kind of fun to have it as a surprise. And now I'm like, no fucking
No,
way.
you got to paint the nursery.
I have to know.
Right, you got to know.
I'm
think
not
a
gonna
little
paint
girl.
it pink or
I'm
green,
kidding.
but you know, honestly, like it won't be a real pregnancy until I can picture what kind of child I'm raising. So it's a big deal. I'm looking forward to it in the next 2-3 weeks.
What's the due date?
October 13th.
Okay, got it.
Which is the same day as my anniversary. Right on my anniversary.
Oh, man.
So we already
She's
have a plan.
going to ruin it.
We're going to like make the kid think that we're celebrating his birthday or her birthday.
Yeah, and be like, we're out.
But it's really about us.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anderson,
We're
I
already
love
trying
it.
to figure out
You're
ways
already
to
trying
screw over the kid.
I know, that's so you, Anderson. It's like when you tease me. Tonight, you were funny because you're like, did you ever, you were teasing me about something, but you always tease
Yeah,
me.
because I give Emily shit off air sometimes, and then her
on air.
disposition a little different off air. Like you get a little bit more like touch and go with me. Like, come on. I was giving you shit about
Sometimes you're
something.
relentless.
And I'm like, what? Don't you have like a big brother? Didn't he tease you?
Yeah, he
Because
hated
that's
me.
how I'm treating you like my little sister.
But with you, it's a slippery slope, and I know that you
You're always afraid
easily
you're gonna
don't
fall in a
like.
hate zone.
Well, because a lot of people, Anderson, let's be honest, fall into your hate zone. They
My
can be
hate
in a
zone's
love
pretty
zone.
wide.
Yeah, but you never get out of your hate zone, and I live in fear of the day I get in your
You're
hate
not
zone.
going to get in my hate zone.
Okay.
If you're
Because
going to
after
get
all
my
this
hate
time,
zone,
I would have done it already, right?
yeah, you would have got in it last week at Carano show when you were saying hashtag bald eagle.
I did not say that. I did not say hashtag bald eagle.
You did. It's okay, but you didn't fall in the hate zone.
And I dropped a fork, and I was a little drunk. It was so fun. I think because I was tweeting something. I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it wasn't
She
that
was
funny.
doing that thing where she was reading her tweet as she was writing it out loud while Mike was singing a song.
I like his singing, by the
He's
way.
pretty
We
good.
need to go out more. See, that was fun. Okay, today we're talking about first time sex. We get a lot of emails from virgins. They haven't had sex yet. We're going to get into that. And I
Hey,
got some sex in the news.
everyone's
It's
been a
okay.
virgin at one time or
Everyone's
another.
been a
Yeah.
virgin, and there's so much anxiety and pressure and
Unless
stress.
if you're a boy and you get stuck in your mom when you're coming out and the doctor has to jostle you back and forth, I think technically you're actually having sex with your mom at that
No,
point.
ew,
I
Anderson.
mean, if you got to jostle back and forth,
Please
you know what
don't
I mean?
ruin
In and out.
Don't implant these things into people's
Technically.
brains. Technically, nothing there. But also reading your emails, and we got some sex in the news. The first news story, Anderson, is period sex.
Oh,
No problem, because there's a whole new thing out there.
plastic sheets.
Nope. Things can get messy if you have sex in your period, so many couples avoid it. But the Flex company wants to replace outdated pads and tampons with a sleek disc-shaped blood blocker called the Flex discs, which are worn during sex to prevent making a mess. So women put them inside of them. They're disposable. They can be worn up to 12 hours. They come in a stylish little packet, hyperallergenic, won't cause toxic shock syndrome, and you can register for a free sample on the company's website. But they say it's so shockingly comfortable that women tell us they forget they're on their period when they're wearing it. And, but people say, and I think this too, like their marketing hinges on the idea that people think periods are gross and that men, women, they all think they're gross. So, but the point is, there are a lot of women, let's say, who don't want to have sex. They want to have sex in their period because a lot of times that's what we're turned on. But they're, they don't want to bleed everywhere. They're not comfortable with it, or maybe guys aren't comfortable with it.
You see, well, honestly, personally, I don't like doing it because it's so messy on the sheets.
Right.
Not like it grosses me out, even though the idea of what's actually happening freaks me out. It's fine if I'm in love with the girl. If I have a relationship, I can do
You can
whatever.
do-
Nothing
it's not your favorite
gross
time,
me out.
though. Right.
But I don't like getting over the
I know
bed.
it's the sheets. That's the worst. And this
all
is
over
when you know
my
what's going to happen.
underwear.
There's like a bloody massacre. I know.
But you see the writing on the wall here. Girls are going to put this up there every time they have a period just because they don't like dealing with pads and whatnot. And
Well,
that's going
yeah.
to be dangerous, I bet.
Well, I hope not. Well, this is just supposed to be if you're going to have sex.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah.
But the thing is, women often want the most. So 25% of the trial signups are from men, it says too. But obviously, some women and men don't mind period sex. Like I said, I don't know. I was with the guy once who was like, he jumped and took a shower and he's gross. I was like, done
Isn't
with
there
him.
like something like with Orthodox Jewish people, like
Yeah,
they're,
but he
they're
was
not allowed
not
to be in the
Orthodox
same
Jew.
room
He was
during
just-
it? Like
Yeah.
they get the women gets relegated to a separate room in the house.
Exactly. It's like
for
the red
3 or 4
tent.
days.
It's not a bad idea. I'd actually
That's
like
a
to hang out with my
terrible
girlfriends
idea.
when I'm PMSing.
Really? Oh, so you guys
I'd
all
like
just go
to leave it.
together.
Yeah, like the red tent. Do you remember that book?
The red tent.
Okay.
What is that product called?
It's called the Flex, but there's also one out called what is
The
it called
Cork.
again? No. There's one that we were just talking
blood
about
stopper.
recently. No. Soft cups. That's been out for a while. Similar product. But I think that if this is your thing, if you have a fear of like a bloody massacre happening, and you're like, oh my god, because when you've been with someone and you didn't know it, and like blood's all. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, well,
The sheets and the
that's
thing.
the thing too. Like when it's a new relationship,
Yeah,
or
and
like,
you don't know.
you can only have sex every so often because you don't see the person very often, or you don't live. When you're living
Yeah,
in
you
your
gotta do
parents'
it.
house when you're young,
Right.
Like that doesn't matter at all. But when you become a grown adult, and you
Yeah.
can schedule around it,
You just do.
yeah.
It's true. But there's nothing wrong with blood or period sex. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, then go for the Flex. Or you can also buy these soft cups that are out now. Because it's funny, because I was in a meeting recently and they're like, have you heard of these soft cups? And they've been around for a while. But okay, manspreading makes a person more attractive when dating, according to a new study. Do you know what manspreading is?
Don't know what this is.
I did not either. Reflecting your personality in a handful of words on a hookup app or during a speed
Wait,
dating
what?
session,
Slow down.
reflecting your personality, reflecting it, showing who you are in a handful of words on a hookup app or during a speed dating session is almost impossible. But simply having an open posture, which sounds suspiciously like manspreading, like this, when your like legs are open and you're like all spread out in your dating profile photos or in real life, can make a person more attractive. So when a guy's like, his legs are spread and he's like taking up more space, manspreading, you're like penis. I mean,
I
your
get it.
clothes
Like,
on.
I've heard about the whole, like the unspoken words that occur with body language, and you're never supposed to have your arms crossed because it's like blocking people out.
It's
and
true
this and
though.
that.
Apparently, it's
But
true.
this sounds a
but
little-
here's the thing: when it gets to the bottom, there's a study, but women too. It says who take up more
I get get
space.
that.
No, not when their legs are spread naked, but just like if a woman's like, has her arms out, she's taking up more space. So an expansive posture is described as an enlargement of the amount of space the person is occupying is more attractive. This is opposed to a photo where the person is pictured with their arms and legs close to their torso. So standing like that, not even crossed. But if I'm like, my arms are out, but the problem is I'm so small, like I couldn't take up a lot of space.
She's
anyway.
got her arms stretched out
I
right
know.
now, and she looks like she's in some kind of like
Do I look sexier, though?
Vilify ad
Do you think
or
I look
something.
better?
Dancing free on
I'm
the
so
beach.
happy. Oh, what had a Billify? Is that what you said? Yeah, like that. The mad ads, exactly.
They should call it the basic instincting instead of man spreading.
I know. Well, that's what they said, manspreading. That sounds awful.
Sounds
It's like manscaping.
terrible.
I know, but women get studied at 3 different levels. They watch speed daters and they watched real life people like judge daters on a Tinder app, and they had them look at photos of men and women. And the researchers, I'm not drunk yet. The researchers believe that such body language is appealing because the brain associates it with dominance and openness.
And Jesus.
And Jesus. But we make these, then they showed people who met someone speed dating that they weren't attracted to and then showed a picture of them spread eagle. No, man spread.
Man spread, taking
up more space.
Looking like a hockey goalie.
Yeah.
But
So
it's worked for Jesus. He's got a lot of followers. A lot
that's
of people
so
are
true.
drawn to
Maybe
him.
it's a religious thing. It
Yeah.
all goes back to Jesus.
Could be.
You're so
He's ripped.
friggin' right.
Yeah.
Jesus was ripped.
Chiseled.
Now we're going to give a little love to our sponsors. I have a daily routine that keeps me grounded. Things that I absolutely must do before I can even head out the door. And over the past few months, I added something new. The Intensity by Pour Moi. The Intensity combines two things I love and talk about all the time. Kegel exercises and orgasms. Seriously, I feel like they made this product just for me. Originally developed as a medical device to cure many pelvic floor issues women experience, like inability to orgasm and urinary incontinence, especially after childbirth. The makers quickly learned that the only real side effects from its use were incredible orgasms, which, if you ask me, is not a bad side effect at all. The Intensity applies gentle electrostimulation directly to the pelvic floor muscles. It gives you an amazing, effective Kegel workout. And, as you know, stronger Kegels equals stronger orgasms. So once they realized the Intensity was the best of both worlds, utility and pleasure, the designers added powerful vibrations and a clitoral stimulator for that pleasure side effect. The result is much more than a sex toy. Seriously, it's a product that has changed my sex life. Now it's your turn. To find out how the Intensity can change your sex life, go to sexwithemily.com and click on the Intensity banner. Don't forget to use code Emily at checkout so they know who sent you. Okay, everybody. Here we go. Virginity. Okay, I know that brings up a lot of fear and anxiety in a lot of men and women. You have not had sex yet. And there's a lot of pressure to have sex. You have anxiety when you're about to have sex. You have anxiety before sex. You're not even close to having sex, the whole thing. But the thing is, it's natural to worry about sex because you can't practice. Think about it, Anderson. Like you can self-pleasure, but you can't actually practice the old in and out. But you can prepare for it. So this is your virgin preparedness guide. So I decided to gather the most common questions I get asked. Everyone emails me feedback at sexwithemily.com, which I love. And I just thought, first, let's talk about the common things I get asked and how to prep for the first time and how to do the goddamn thing already. Mm-hmm. But first, the Hymen Chronicles, the #1 virgin myth.
I thought you were going to say the Hymen Kraken.
No, I just like to call it the Hymen Chronicles is what I was
Because that's
prepping for it.
when you're de-virginizing a girl, you're essentially cracking that hymen.
But you're not. See,
Never
this
heard
is the
that
myth.
term. That's
I
terrifying.
have cracking the hymen.
Cracking the hymen.
I've never heard cracking the hymen.
I've never cracked a hymen.
No?
No, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, I would actually actively avert such scenarios.
If there was a virgin, you said no?
Because I would say, like, you know what? No one likes the first guy that de-virginizes them. That they're almost always assholes. And I don't want to be.
True.
I don't want to be that guy.
I don't I hate the guy I had sex with for the first time.
Well, you don't hate anyone, Em.
That's true.
Yeah.
I hate some people I dated are not my favorite people.
Hymen Chronicles.
Okay, so the hymen and virginity are not mutually exclusive. Even if you think you got to crack the hymen for it to really be a virgin, you think there's going to be blood everywhere, but it is not an indicator of your virginity, and it's not an adequate way of proving.
No, because girls stick things up there.
Yes.
They go ride horses.
Exactly. It is not a membrane that needs to bleed or be broken during intercourse. It's just it's like a small elastic fold of like mucus tissue.
No.
Mucus tissue. Say that 10 times fast.
Think about it once.
And so it only partially covers the vaginal opening and but doesn't always tear if you're stretched. So a lot of women, riding a horse, riding a bike when they're little, like it might just tear. Like it could happen. So, and fewer than half of all women bleed the first time. So if you don't tear or bleed, like don't be bummed out.
Yeah.
Like doesn't mean you're not a virgin. And the idea, what?
Important knowledge, though, because there's a lot of douchebag dudes out there that are dating.
I know.
And then they hear that you're a virgin, and then you have sex with them, and if there's no blood, what the fuck, man?
Right. More than half do not bleed.
Virgin.
I don't think I bled the first time, and I swear to God I was a virgin.
I don't know if I
But I
bleed
didn't ride
either.
horses growing up, so I'm not sure why.
What about cucumbers? You ride those?
I didn't ride anything growing up.
No.
I didn't have an orgasm until I was like 22. Why do you think I'm here? Okay, the idea that a woman's first sexual experience is like this permanent hymen-breaking challenge is just BS, really. And it's, you think like the language, too, that people talk, she lost her virginity, he took her virginity. It's just very misleading.
I gave him my virginity.
Like, that stuff bothers me. So just the hymen thing, like, don't be all, yes, you should still you can put down towels. Speaking of blood, if earlier, if you don't want that, but it might not happen, okay? So don't judge it on that. Put out a towel. So what? But it's not like it's bloody blood. It's not like period blood.
I think rarely, though, couples are like, okay, we're going to lose our virginity now. And it's like, a lot of time it happens in the passion, the heat of the passion. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's what we're going to talk about, how to cover that. Because people are like, oh, I wasn't prepared or,
And there might not be blood, but there should always be this sound. That's how you can tell if she's still a
Did she
virgin.
pop the cherry?
That might be the hackneyest joke I've ever done in your
That
show.
was a hackney joke. That's like my dad. He had the hackneyest jokes.
Listen for this, boys.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's a common virgin question. Popping the cork of the cherry.
Cracking that hymen.
But I can't remember if I don't know if I bled. Maybe I did. Well, I remember my story, but I can tell you the first time I had sex. I've never. Yeah, I was dating a guy for 11 months. I was a junior in high school, 17. He was a football player, very cute guy, and I waited 11 months, and then we had sex on his brother's waterbed.
Aye.
Yeah, not hot. And
no one even has those things anymore.
I know. How 80s is that, 90s?
How long did it take us to realize it's just a bad idea?
Oh, my God. I don't know.
How did you have good on this guy? This guy must have had a lot of experience.
His brother's waterbed.
I know, but the guy who did the deed.
He had sex with one other person, so he said.
A lot of times, because I'd have a hard time having sex with my wife right now on a waterbed.
Right.
It's hard to
Whoever
maneuver.
has sex, I don't even remember that. I mean, I remember being in the bed, but what happened was we had sex and it was fine. Like, I remember being thinking it was a big deal.
Was it in the dark?
I think it was dark.
You think?
It was dark.
How drunk were you, Em?
I wasn't drunk. I wasn't a drinker.
How do you
me.
not remember?
I got the drunkest I was last week when I was hashtagging in the middle of the show.
Hashtag Bald Eagle.
Hashtag Bald Eagle. Why did I? Oh, because he was talking about the bald eagle.
Yes.
I was like, this would be funny if I hashtag his joke.
I'm sorry.
And yell in the middle of the show.
I'm sorry.
So then my boyfriend and I had sex and his boyfriend in the waterbed and then went downstairs.
What did the brother
waterbed.
think about that?
Well, here's the thing. We didn't tell the brother until the brother came home that night and found the condom in the bed. So apparently we didn't throw away the condom.
Did you guys make up a story? So it was probably in the dark.
It probably was, but
Yeah.
my boyfriend should have known to throw away the condom because he had had sex before.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't know to throw it.
The guys are mind. We're also spacey too. When it's actually happening, especially for the first time, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening, and nothing else matters.
Yeah, his brother's like, God damn it, you asshole! I remember him coming down screaming like you had
Did he
sex in
make
my
up
bed.
a story?
How do you make up a story with a used condom in the bed?
Must have been
that
yours,
wasn't his.
bro.
No, that's not what happened. But that's my story.
It's pretty good.
Okay, here's a question. It's okay.
Then did you have sex with him a lot after that?
I'm trying to remember. I
this
think
guy
I did.
must have been just a real
wasn't good.
dazzler in the bed.
No, he wasn't. And to be honest, I wasn't either. I didn't know about orgasms. I'd never
And it was in the
masturbated.
waterbed.
It was in the waterbed.
Was it
That was
quick?
the first last time.
Did
I
you
think
get
it was pretty.
seasick?
It was probably 10 minutes.
You
I
get sea-
didn't know, but
No
isn't that
seasick?
funny? It was in a waterbed. I forgot until I was preparing for this. I'm like, oh yeah, the waterbed.
Do they still sell those? I wonder if they can
No,
still buy one.
my brother had one too.
I'm sure your brother did. I
Stud.
can see that.
But I mean, I did keep having sex with him, and then I just I don't really remember it because honestly, I didn't know about pleasure. Does it feel great? I don't think it was really painful. Maybe it was little, but it was
He's probably
okay.
small.
I did it. I remember thinking it was a big, oh my God, we had sex, and it was like
Right.
a big, we love you, I love you, and then
Aw.
I know we were together for a year or so, and then whatever.
It's much better to hear that after your first time. Like, I love you.
But no,
rather
we
than
love it.
get out.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to cover some of this today because people should I just have sex with anybody? But
Right.
here's the first question I get asked. Am I a freak? Well, people I date think I'm a freak because I'm a virgin. So when you do have sex, decide to have sex for the first time, you just want to make sure it's with someone you trust, who makes you feel comfortable, that you have a relationship of some kind with. I'm not saying you have to wait 11 months and be madly in love like I thought I was or in love. But, don't sleep with anyone who judges you or makes you feel bad about your sexual history. If you're with someone that you think is going to make you feel like a freak and you don't feel safe with this person, the key word is like safe, and you know them, then like don't do it. And even if you're not committed, just take this step of having sex with someone that you like know. Because, like even if you're dating someone casually and you're like, oh my God, are they going to think I'm a freak? Like, you don't have to let everybody know you're a virgin, but if you're with someone and you feel like it's going to that place, then like let them know. And if they act weird about it, then leave. Like, if someone makes you feel bad, you shouldn't be with them anyway. Like,
you even got to tell them, Em?
Okay, well, here's the other thing. That's the next question. How do I tell my new partner that I'm a virgin? So once you get to that point of having sex, I think if you want to tell them honestly. I thought you should know I'm a virgin. Like, keep it light. Don't apologize about it. There's a fact. You have nothing to make excuses for. Right? Like, you don't have to be like, I'm really sorry I'm a virgin, or can you believe like someone.
Well, it depends on why too, right? Like if you're a virgin because you can't attract the opposite sex and have anyone put it in, that's a problem and you're probably ashamed. If you're a virgin because you haven't found the right guy or girl, that's on your terms. If you're a virgin because of religious reasons, that's on your terms too. So it kind of depends on where it's going. You might have shame yourself, right?
Right.
The person might actually have shame.
That's true. I mean, do you think people shouldn't always tell?
I don't want to say
like
too
for
much,
you,
but
because
yeah.
it was a buzzkill and you were like, I can't.
It was definitely a buzzkill in a few scenarios, and then I found out afterwards a few times too, and I kind of was appreciative that I didn't know at the time because it would have freaked me out.
I know, I understand that. I just feel like, okay, so maybe times have changed. Or for some people, maybe I get it. You want to get over with, and women are like, oh, or men just like, let's do it. But I still think it is a big moment, and if you're worried about it and there's all this anxiety, like it's best to be with someone. And I think you want them to know,
It's going to be a bigger deal for you girls.
It is a bigger deal. Right, that's true. Like, if it's not a big deal to say, hey, it's no big deal, I want you to know it's my first time. I just think that you'll appreciate that. But now you're telling all these women they're not going to tell because they're afraid a guy's going to freak out.
I think there's a lot of guys out there that are looking to crack the hymen.
That's true. Anderson was not.
Yeah.
So, okay, the next question, should I wait for someone special or just get over with? I think make sure you're really ready and you're not just pressuring yourself to check it off the list.
Because you guys always remember the first one too.
We do. I remember it.
Yeah. But you're always.
I don't remember like how I felt.
You probably don't remember
what I was
number
wearing.
96,
I was probably naked.
But you remember number one for sure.
Always. You always remember number one. So like you remember it, and I still think it's got to mean something, even with all the sex out there these days.
It should be somebody you have feelings for, I think, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I didn't get to have that.
You had a.
Yeah, well, the first two times didn't even happen because one time I felt the girl's butthole and it freaked me out and I kind of left the room.
You felt her butthole?
Well, I was like, we're in the dark and I was kind of feeling around in there and then I'm like, that's her butthole I just felt and I got all freaked out and I left. But I was like 13. I was way too young.
That's so young.
And then when I finally had penetrative sex, it was with a much older woman and it was not good. Looking back on it, like she was saying things, acting like a porn star. She was 22 and I was like 14. Yeah, it was not good.
Did she know that you were...
And my wife thinks it still screwed me up to this day. I don't know.
Probably, well, you didn't want to do it?
No, I was into it, of course, yeah. I was down. I'm a
but
14-year-old
it was one time?
No, it was about 10.
So why does she think it messed you up?
My wife, because my wife likes to fuck with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she's like,
traumatic?
You were raped. You were raped as a child.
Well, it is illegal. Technically,
you
were
22,
raped.
I was like 14.
How'd you meet her?
She was, I used to work at this place called Porky's.
No.
It was a place for ribs.
Hilarious. Talk about foreshadowing.
It was a rib place. We sold ribs.
And then she was like, hey, come back to my place to pork. I want to pork you.
Really good friends with the one of the owner's daughters. So we all used to hang out. I'd skateboard there. I was like the cool kid. She drove a Porsche. I was like the coolest kid in town for like a month. And then I'm like, wow, this chick's got problems.
Like what?
Like she drank a lot.
God, if she met the future Anderson, you'd get along well.
She used to call my school, say that she was my mom, and have to come pick, and she'd come pick me up, and then they pick me up, and then they'd have a 12-pack of beer in the back seat, and I'd drink, driving. I'd be in the back seat drinking in her Porsche as she was driving with her friend to the court where she was having her DUI hearings, and then we'd all drink in the parking lot before we went in.
Oh God, dude, she's so messed up.
Awesome.
Was she a porn star? Was she, or was she just having sex like a porn star?
No,
I agree this messed you up. But I think a lot of things have messed you up. I'm not saying it's hard to isolate.
Yeah, I remember her saying things like about how wet she was. Like, I get turned off now with any kind
You're
of talk.
14. Oh, you can't talk dirty?
I don't like it.
No. Okay, good to
I wonder
know.
if that's why.
Good to know because I'm getting wet now.
That I
just
do
talking,
things and
hearing
stuff.
about it. Oh.
Yeah. I don't like.
No, you're 14. Did she know it was your first time?
No, well, maybe. No. Because it wasn't. I'd already been like, I just couldn't. A lot of guys, I think you
Can't.
know this, like they can't perform on their first time. They're too nervous.
Right, or they come quickly, or
And
they
they
just
can't
can't
even,
get
like,
hard.
get it to
I know,
perform.
and that's fine. Here's the thing, also, guy. That's why you may want to tell your partner because you might come too quickly, or you might not be able to perform the first time.
Might even
Because
be- yeah.
anything with anxiety, think about whenever you're anxious about anything. You know, playing sports, doing something like you might mess up. You might not throw the ball.
Yeah, the first time it was actually in the middle of the night on a lot of things occurred to get us up to this point, but it was on tennis courts, Em. Tennis courts in the middle of the night.
Ouch.
Yeah, and
Did you
she
have a
was
blanket?
pulling up her skirt. Like I was trying to get there and I couldn't find it. It was awful. So it never actually happened there. It happened like a couple months later with this 22-year-old.
Oh God!
So I had the butthole incident, the tennis court incident before.
So you had 2 misses.
Yeah.
And then you had the Porsche chick who was a DUI drinking in her Porsche.
She was hot though.
Have you there? I'm sure she was.
No, I don't do therapy. Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. Should you wait for someone special or get it over with? Anderson just got it over with. Anderson, how'd that work for you?
Pretty
You
good.
don't need to be madly in love, but you should have some kind of trust. I mean, virginity is very loaded. Like I said, for a lot of people, make sure you're doing it with someone who has your best interests. And if you're convinced your breast interests that you have to do it and it's got to get over with, then just, be prepared for what could happen. You might have regrets. You might have a crazy story 20 years later. You might not 20, 30 years later.
I remember being a guy just wanting to get it done.
Well, that's the thing. And I think that a lot of guys do. And so, this is kind of, I was going to break this down to men and for women, but a lot of this is universal. I understand guys just want to get over with, but I also think it's just, if you can, just wait till you're with someone that you feel safe with and you feel like exploring and you want to, it's okay that she's okay if you or he, whoever it is, a he, gay, like, okay if you ejaculate too quickly or something.
But there's like the first sex, and there's also the first comfortable sex relationship
Right.
where it's repeated.
And it's probably not the
sometimes
first
it's the
time.
same.
Right.
Sometimes it's the same person, but a lot of time it's not.
It's not.
By the time you're actually having sex on a regular basis with somebody, that's a whole different thing in
That's
itself.
so much better too. Like when you after that, right? And it wasn't with this guy. I wasn't uncomfortable, but it just wasn't great sex. But I don't think I learned how to really have great sex until I understood my own body and how to move and masturbating and being with someone who like made me feel comfortable.
And now
so,
look at you.
Look at me.
Look at you now.
Now I'm
Water
just crazy
beds
slut.
be damned.
And so just remember, there's no rules. Just make the decision that's right for you, but think about it. And how can you tell if you're ready? It's another big question. There's not like a magazine quiz I'm going to give you all to know if you're ready. There are risks, STDs, pregnancy. There's psychological, emotional risks. Look at Anderson. If you sleep with someone before you're ready, like someone who's not trustworthy, who makes you feel bad about yourself, it can cause stress and anxiety for your entire life. No, but sex shouldn't be the cause of stress and anxiety. It should be fun. So
Should be the
don't rush
reliever.
into it. I know. So ask yourself these questions. How am I going to feel after this? Is this what I want? Am I doing it for the right reasons? Do they want the same things? Just be sure. Like I just don't want anyone to be pressured into making this decision when they don't want to. Okay, what should I expect the first time? Exactly. You should hear that noise. Anderson loves it. Now we love it. Okay, people think the first time, I think people still think it's going to be glamorous. There'll be waterfalls and they're going to see like unicorns and
Like
stuff.
they've seen Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles too
Right.
many times.
Exactly.
They think
I think
Jake's
that
gonna come
people
over.
think that, but don't have unrealistic expectations because that's rarely the case that you're going to see rainbows, okay? It might be awkward. Here's what to expect. It could be awkward. You might be nervous. It could be uncomfortable. For some women, there could be pain, discomfort. You haven't had anything inside you. And you might not have an orgasm the first time. I wonder if women have orgasms the first time. I'd be curious to know.
Oh, those
But
women.
just stick with it. It gets better, okay? Will my partner be able to see my inexperience? That's another question. I mean, probably, which is why you should tell him first. Like, is it worse that you came quickly or didn't get hard, but she thought that you already experienced? Or like, hey, I'm a virgin and I can't get hard? Or
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I said to you, you're like, don't tell. But what if you're a guy and you didn't perform the first time, but you didn't tell that
Oh,
you're
you
a
want to
virgin?
use that as an excuse?
No, I'm saying if you don't tell that you're a virgin, but then you like
You suck
can't
at
perform, you probably should have told him.
it. Yeah, well, maybe.
So, it is a big deal. I think it's a big deal. It's like milestones: masturbation, virginity, orgasm, marriage, baby.
It's a big deal. It is, but it's such a mental game that like,
I know.
I don't know if you want it in either one of your heads. My whole thing too is like I pretend like I've been there before. You know what I mean?
Right.
With almost everything I do, I try and act like, yeah, this is old
Right.
school.
You pretend
for me.
people are dead,
Not a big deal.
are going to die.
Like when I went to jail, like I pretended like I had been there numerous times before, and I was just trying to like act like
Were you
I've
drunk?
been
Why were you
there.
in jail?
That's not the point. But like, so when I first had sex, I was pretending like I knew what I was doing.
You have all
Trying
these
to fake
really
it.
interesting psychological coping mechanisms.
You got to try and fake it, right? You got to act like you know what you're doing.
Well,
you
act
never
as
want to be the new
if,
guy.
right? Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Which women should never fake their orgasms. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. Just the way that you think about, like how you say, like you think of,
Have you ever-
see someone you don't want to talk to them and you're like, oh, what if they died?
I pretend like that they're dead for like 2 or 3
Like,
seconds.
oh,
and
they
then,
died. I'd be sad. I'm going to say hi to my
and
neighbor.
then I'm like, oh my God, wait, no, they're not dead. And then I actually appreciate them for a
Right.
split second. I can deal with them in the elevator.
I think whatever you have to do to be a normal functioning human is working.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever taken anybody's?
No, I've
No?
never taken anyone's
You
virginity.
sure am.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. I've never taken
I bet
anyone's
you might have.
virginity. No.
Do you want to?
Oh no.
Why? It's
No,
not
I'm
too
not into
late.
younger guys.
No, they don't have
And-
to be young.
Like a virgin, like
Virgins come in all shapes
you're
and
right,
sizes.
like a 40-year-old virgin. I have not, but maybe I
Does that
should
bum you out?
check it out. No, I never thought about it actually.
You've never thought about
I've
it.
never thought that I've never taken a guy's virginity. It's never been on my bucket list, but I'm not saying I wouldn't do it.
Call it a bucket list.
A fucking list, but never have.
All right.
Because I'm
Interesting.
sure that like I was a serial monogamist. I always had like serious boyfriends.
That's so funny because I don't see that in you at all.
I know. I got it out
At
of my
all.
system in my 20s. I literally had like 5 in a row, 2.5 years, 2.5
Yeah.
years, 2.5 years.
Same with me.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, like all
So
through
done.
high school, like right after high school. Yeah.
I just think that's you don't know what else to, you don't know what to do. Like,
Nah.
you think, oh, I'm dating you, and then we like each other, we had sex. But I think now people are not committing as much.
Oh no,
The
they're not.
millennials. No.
Thanks
oh
to
no, thanks to Tinder.
thanks to
Okay,
Tinder.
so here's a few more things about it. Your mindset before sex. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you've thought about the pros and cons, and you're in a clear mental state. I'm just going to say this: best not to be blacked out drunk or too high.
Like Emily might have been.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't even a stoner. I wasn't anything then. I was
Lights
so,
on or off?
I was so type A. I think the lights were off.
Yeah.
Before candles. I
Most
don't
people
remember.
wouldn't you guess that most people probably lose their virginity while drunk, or at
Yes.
least under the
And
influence
maybe
of
I was,
something.
yeah, for sure. But I'm saying, like, you know, it's okay to be drunk, maybe, but you don't want to be blacked out
No.
crazy. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want the liquid
remember.
courage. You want to remember, just like I remember the part about the condom. Self-love, the best thing to do prepared. Know your own body. Know what you like.
It really is so important. Like I don't remember the first time I drove, which is something that I do every day. You do
Right.
too. Do you remember the first time you drove?
Only because I was
Oh,
the
and you're
worst
having
driver
sex while you're
ever.
doing it, but-
No, I should not have gotten my license. Like I made like a left into the wrong lane. I went down a one-way street the wrong way. Like the first day, like I broke every. I was a terrible driver.
My point is, there's so many first
but I
things that you
don't
do
remember.
in
It was
your
the first
life,
week I was driving.
and most
But that is
first
a good
things
point.
you don't remember because
Right.
you're too young, or it's just it's not memorable.
Right.
Sex, you're always going to remember
Always.
that first time.
You always
and you don't
remember
want to
it.
be blackout drunk because you could miss it. Oh, that's sad for so many people that were blackout drunk. They don't remember the first time.
No.
Like it's just never. It was
Exactly.
never there.
I'm glad I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't
All
a
the
drinker.
Cosby
I mean, I
girls?
drank. Yeah.
No idea.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't bring up Cosby.
I'm sorry.
Safe sex. Bring protection with you. Even if you're on the pill, bring a condom. You could get an STD. Remember that. Don't assume that your partner will. I remember my other boyfriend. Okay, so this is my boyfriend my junior year. My senior year boyfriend. He was coming. He's going to be the second guy I slept with. We were dating for a few months, and he came to my prom, and we got a hotel room, and he didn't bring condoms,
Dick.
and I was like, "I'm not sleeping with you."
None for you.
Like none for you. And then I'm like, let's go to McDonald's. We went to McDonald's instead.
McDonald's code for
McDonald's.
anal.
No, we just had McDonald's and didn't have sex because he didn't bring one.
Did
So
he apologize? Why didn't you guys go get a condom?
I don't
If you could
remember
go to
why.
McDonald's.
You know what? I don't remember why. Like maybe nothing was open back in the day. It was like there wasn't like 24-hour anything.
Nowadays, I think condoms are much more readily available.
Yeah.
Nicorette and condoms way more available than they were back then.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. And so, despite what you might think, plenty of people do get STDs. I don't. This is not to be a buzzkill. They get STDs or get pregnant from their first time having
Their
sex.
first time, because you think about it, if you're hooking up for the first time with a random, that random's probably having sex with as many people as possible.
It's true. And just because someone tells you that they haven't or they don't have an STD, just please wear condoms. I promise you it takes one person with one outbreak or one drop of sperm for you to be pregnant.
It's true. A little pre-cum.
Right.
I
Little
could do
pre-cum,
it.
little pre-cum. Foreplay. Warm each other up beforehand. If you're a guy, you're really nervous, you're going to be ready to go. The night's here, you're excited. But if you are super nervous, just take care of her. Make her
Make it
excited.
about her. And
Make
take
it
your
about
mind
her.
off yourself.
Exactly. Take your mind off yourself. Oral stimulation, kissing, touching. You don't have to rush straight for the sex. Get to know each other's bodies and then take it slow during. Guys, I know you're excited, but just if you're worried about nesting long enough, take the pressure off your erection, put on her pleasure.
What?
And take the pressure off your erection.
How?
Put the attention on her.
Oh, okay.
On her
I
breasts.
thought you meant like physically, like just.
On her nipples.
Okay.
Women, take it slow. Take deep breaths. Pay attention to your body. If there's pain, please tell him to stop. Say stop.
They'll probably like that too. Don't worry about him.
Stop.
If you're like, "Ow, that hurts," he's gonna think, "Oh yeah, I'm big."
Yeah.
Seriously.
Really. And this goes
Seriously.
for any time you're having sex. If you are, so many women experience pain during sex and they just suck it up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Not good. You could have serious damage. You could hurt yourself.
Just don't do it in like a weird turn-offy way. Like, "Ow, stop it! What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
yeah. Just be like, oh wait, that
"Honey,
hurts,
that
baby,
hurts.
that
Slower,
hurts.
slower."
Yeah, say it in a sexy way, or just say it. Really,
Ooh, that hurts so
communicate what
good.
you're experiencing. Use lube, you guys. You know, I'm a huge fan of lube, and here's the thing: how wet you naturally are does not necessarily indicator of how turned on you are.
Every nightstand.
What?
Every nightstand.
Every nightstand, I want a lube. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask
That's
for?
not,
Like,
it's
I
not.
don't think that's
the
hard.
Christians got their Bibles in every nightstand in the Bible
Dude,
in hotels.
Exactly.
You should have a thing of lube right next to those Bibles, at least in the hotels.
I think that's brilliant.
Yes, I know.
They give you shampoo.
Shampoo.
They give you soap.
Why not lube?
Why don't they know everyone's having sex in the hotel?
They do
It's a
know
great
that.
idea. Afterwards, get the condom off your penis into the trash. What
Not
are
in
your
the waterbed.
condom removal? Not in the waterbed. Do you tie the thing?
What?
When you take off the condom, what do you do?
I don't
Just
know. I
throw
let
the
her
trash?
deal with it. I'm like, yeah, take the trash
Really?
out. What are you doing?
No, but you take it off and you.
It's been so long since I've used a
Right.
condom, ma'am.
Okay,
I don't
got
know.
it. Right, because you're married.
I'm a married man.
And okay, so here's the emotion part. You might feel worried or guilty or exposed or who knows what you feel. You might
tie
feel
it
elated.
off. Tie it off.
You
Nah,
tie
don't
it
have to
off so it's
tie it
like,
off.
well, you could
Can
tie it
flush
off so your
I think I
sperm.
just
You
threw
can't
it.
flush it.
Oh, I flushed.
You're not supposed to flush.
I
Don't flush it. Throw it in the trash. But, if you feel weird or guilty or all this stuff, talk to someone. Talk to a person about it. You don't want to get set, like Anderson, have a traumatic experience that,
And I
is
didn't
pervasive
kiss
for
and
the rest of
tell.
your life.
So like, I didn't even tell my friend. I should have been bragging on my
How
friends.
did you
I
not?
didn't even do that.
Until when? Until now?
Well, years later I talked about it. But like my friends are all the group that we hung out with. None of them knew. Which
Because
made
you
it
were
even more fun.
embarrassed? Or?
It was like secret sex.
I would think that as a 14-year-old boy, it would be like you would tell everyone.
Yeah. I did
high
not
school?
ever kiss
No.
and tell. I
Did you ever
always thought
see
that
her
was rude.
again?
Thought that was rude. Saw her in the market once, and she gave me like a deer in the headlights look. Like years later.
Really?
Yeah.
She remembered you.
I can't even remember her. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Okay. We don't need to know her name. Although we could Google her.
I was always very drunk too. I think she
I'm
might
sure.
be dead, which would freak me out. That would freak me out. I don't want
Sounds like she wasn't on the road to safety.
anyone
or
that
to
I've had
health.
sex with. The idea of them being dead is creepy.
Oh,
You know what I
that's
mean?
just creepy. Yeah, I think everyone's alive still. I'm friends with them
I
all
like
on
to
Facebook.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We got some emails. Dude, death. Okay. Thank you for emailing me feedback. Okay, those are my virgin things. I hope that covered it for a lot of you. Let me know if you have more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't stress out. And make sure you're with someone that you trust and don't feel pressure to have sex.
Don't sweat it.
Okay. Emails. Thank you for emailing me. Feedback@sexwithelmy.com. You all rock. I love hearing from you. And I love when you include your name, where you're listening from, how you listen, and your age. It's just so awesome. Okay. Hi, Emily. I met this guy 6 years ago. We've been friends ever since. I've always been interested in him, but I didn't seem like his type, so I never pursued anything. In the last few months, I've noticed subtle things that make me think he wants something more than a friendship with me, like hand-holding in front of our friends, whispers in my ears, being close to my face during conversations, and paying for me whenever we hang out. He even went 15,008 miles away, to be exact, to do a few shows. And while on break between those shows, he came back and only wanted to see me, myself, and his family.
What shows? Now I'm obsessed.
I know. Now, is he a band guy? I don't know. Though I've noticed all his signs and I do see myself with him, I want to be at least 80% positive he actually feels that way towards me before I pursue him and possibly get my feelings hurt. Is there any way to get him to divulge his feelings towards me first, or do I have to jump in with both feet in hopes of not getting hurt? Help a sister out. Also, keep up with the great podcast. Thanks, Tamika, 29, Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky.
It sounds like such a dude email, doesn't it?
I listen to your shows on the podcast app. No, why?
The 80% thing. Like, that's such a guy thing. Like, I will not move forward unless I
Not
have
75%.
80% confirmation.
I get it, though. As a woman, I get it. No one wants to be rejected, okay? And he clearly, don't you think he sounds like he's interested in her
Well, if this
for
was her
6
brother,
years? Yeah.
If this was her father or her brother, would it make her super uncomfortable with what he's doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably. So, yeah, he probably does like you. And this has been going on for a long time. And 5.5 years of just being friends. And now he's just at the last 6 months, he's hand holding, paying for dates.
Yeah.
Either you've been downplaying it and you're not realizing that maybe there have been signs there before, or something has just started.
Something switched.
Percolating.
It does happen.
It does
sometimes.
happen.
I hear a lot of guys say that girls can't grow on guys, and that's total BS. Absolute BS.
You think that girls say that? You don't think
guys
that
grow on girls all the time. Like you guys are like, I'm
no,
not
guys
attracted
grow on
to
me
him.
all the time.
Yeah,
they're
that
so
happens
lucky.
With,
I'm like,
with girls all the time. Guys growing on girls, but I've heard a lot of guys say, "Hey, you know in the
in a
first
minute,
2
right.
seconds, and if you're ever going to want to bang this person." And girls have completely grown on me.
yeah,
numerous
see,
times.
because you're like a chick.
No,
No,
it's because
I think
they
I
can't.
get it. They do. I get it.
Yeah.
You're right. I think you're absolutely right, girl. It's true. Once you get to know, it's the same reasoning why it is for women. Like you get to
maybe
know someone and they're
Tamika-
smart.
to grow on this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, you need to have a conversation. She could be lighthearted or something, and just say, "Hey, so we weren't always holding hands before. We're doing a lot of hand holding. What's the deal with that? Why are you holding my hand? Like
Yeah.
make a joke out of it. Like, hey, you keep holding my hand. Like just make it light. Make it like point it out because obviously kind of a difference. Maybe he's afraid to make the move. So I would just call it out like that because I get her 80% scared because I would be scared. I would be like, I don't want to be rejected. Either he's just a player. Or
Doesn't
he's into
sound
her.
like it. Doesn't sound
No,
like it.
he
You
came
don't do that
only-
with a friend if
no,
you're a player.
and think of this. He came back. He only wanted to stay with his family. He all of a sudden started. I think that you're pretty good, and I would just say a light little like I'm good at this. I'd be like, "Where's the hand holding? You've been kissing me, whatever." He did. What did he do? Talk closer, close talker,
close talking, holding hand in front of her friends too.
in front of her friends and his friends.
Sounds
so
like Tamika
I think
really
it sounds
likes this guy,
good,
too.
and she does like
She's
him. And you've
probably
liked him for a
focusing on
while.
a lot of
I
stuff,
think you're
little
thinking
things.
he wouldn't like you. You said you're not his type. I don't know what that means. You sound hot, sexy, smart to me.
Here's the
So
20%.
that's in your head.
Though. Here's the 20%
20%
chance
go.
that it's not. Is that she's just really zeroing in on little things that don't even register in his mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he just grabs her hand real quick. He doesn't even really think about it because he's comfortable with her. He's leaning in and whispering in her ear. Like maybe that's not doesn't mean anything to him, but she's focusing on it because she likes him so much. That's
Right.
just the 20%.
Yeah, that's true. That is 20%. And you can be like, what are you talking about?
I'd
So
say-
that's why I think she just says, we never used to hold hands or just make a joke about
How
it.
about this? Just eye contact and then grab his dick and see what he does.
Yeah, exactly. See if he pulls your hand away from the dick or he says, suck it, bitch.
If he, I was gonna say if he looks away, he's not in. If he keeps the eye gaze, he's in.
Yeah.
But you just went straight for the sucker, bitch. Okay.
I don't know where that came from. But I think you know. And I think it's going to happen the next time you see him. You're going to figure out a way to do this, but I'm thinking he likes you. And I want you to email me,
Yeah,
Tamika,
let
what
us
happens.
know.
Because I actually really want to know right
I
now.
wanna
I'm
know.
very invested.
Tamika, let us know.
Yeah. I really do want people to let us know what
Yeah,
happens
you
after
say
we
that, but
stitch.
then there's like 30 people, and you're like,
No,
okay.
they don't tell me.
Yeah.
Well, people are like, you helped me so much. I'm like, well, how?
We do need some updates on this show.
I want updates. Hey, Emily, I just started listening to your show. It's really helped me feel comfortable with my sexuality and learn new things. I met a guy in Australia last summer
All right, mate.
and had to leave to go back to school in America. We've been messaging each other over the year, and I left since we left, and we're clearly interested in each other still. I want to break the news. I'm a virgin to him, but don't know. I know back to the virgin theme, but I don't know how to go about it. I want him to know before I move back to Australia and meet up with him. I'm 18, he's 19, just to give him some background. Love listening to you and the guests on your show, and hope you're having a great spring. XX Gabby.
Oh, Gabby. She's falling for the
I'm
down
so
under. man.
glad
There's-
she's enjoying the show and learning. What?
There's not enough dudes stateside.
I don't know. This is what happens. You're 18. You think it's a thing. They've been
Especially the
talking for a
accent.
year. The
Yeah.
accent's kind of cute.
That guy called the show earlier.
My questions are going to my pecker.
He's got an issue with his dick, I think, so she might want to steer clear.
Oh my God, that was him. Your boyfriend called. Gabby, I say run for the hills. My biggest concern here is when you say break the news to him. It's not a bad thing. Like she's not breaking the dude. I gotta break the news. I'm a virgin, right?
Did you pick this one on purpose? Because it all ties in together with
Well,
everything
yeah,
you just
I
spoke
wanted
of.
to have a little virgin topic here because and I think that she's sharing information about himself. So I think she can wait till she sees him and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely.
Don't start emailing about your virgin texting or
Across the
FaceTiming.
around the
No,
world.
it's
Yeah.
fine. You know what? He doesn't need to know until you see him. I mean, unless you feel like you have to. But you said break the news, so I feel like you're going to apologize. There's nothing to apologize
He's
about.
got his hand full with wombats and the Great Barrier Reef bleaching
he's
out
busy.
because of El Nino. Yeah, he's got enough going on. He doesn't need to know about that. And I really do think, that he might, for the wrong reasons, really fixate on the fact, this American girl's got I could crack the hymen. You know what I mean? And he would want to do it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
If he's
That's-
nefarious at all.
right.
I keep going back to that movie Kids. I don't know if you ever saw
Oh, I
Kids
did
back in
see
the day.
Kids.
And I keep thinking of Tully, who was all he wanted to do was bang virgins. And that's all he did all day. He and his friends would just go around.
Oh my God,
and
that
he
movie was
bang
so
one
disturbing. I
virgin
remember seeing it.
after another virgin, after another virgin. And that's what I'm picturing when I'm picturing these guys finding out that they might have a shot at cracking the hymen.
Yeah, we don't know how he's going to feel about it, and I don't think you have to share it till you're with someone and you're comfortable. You don't need to break anything.
Right.
Don't do it. Okay.
Except the hymen. Got to break that.
Right. Break the hymen. What'd you call it? Break the... Oh, God.
Crack the hymen.
Crack the hymen. That's terrible.
You got one more. Em.
Dear Emily, looking for a first-time purchase toy to spice up things in the bedroom. Have a little child, looking for a quiet toy, wondering if you have any reviews/comments on the Fun Factory Flash waterproof mini silicone vibrator. Thank you, Art.
Very specific, Art.
This is going to be you, Anderson, with the baby. I'm going to have to bring you very silent, discreet toys. Okay, Fun Factory. Okay, so this one, I have not tried it, but Fun Factory makes great toys. It's modern looking. It's a mini vibe and has a little insertable shaft. It's kind of like a rabbity shape, but it's small. It's like a small rabbit. It's submersible in water. It's hypoallergenic. I mean, it's a good toy. Yeah, and it's quiet. It's got 12 vibration programs, and it's their first time. It is a rabbit insertable, so it's not like a clitoral vibe, which I would often, if you want to use it during intercourse, a great thing to do is, I mean, this is a small rabbit vibe, but I would also say that another discreet, quiet one, the WeVibe Tango, it's discreet, and it's a bullet vibe, but it's completely waterproof. You can do it in the shower, and it's so powerful. It is like, it's great for clitoral stimulation, to tease your balls. You also has the Pleasure Mate set with this, so you can take the little clitoral vibe and you can turn it into a rabbit vibe, or you can turn it into like a cock ring with this one, like it sticks in these little silicone sleeves that are really cool. I also like the WeVibe Touch. Those are two great clitoral vibes that are very quiet, rechargeable. They don't look like vibrators. You can leave it around, your kid can see it. I'll leave a baby. They're probably not going to be seeing it, but it's quiet and discreet.
Doesn't look like a rattle, does it?
No.
That'd be a problem.
No, that would be wrong. That'd be so sick
Or a
and wrong.
pacifier.
That'd be so wrong.
That'd be worse.
So yeah, check these out. Go to Good Vibes.
Tight.
Go to my website, Sex with Emily. Click on the Good Vibes banner. I think you use code Emily and you get 20% off. And there's all my favorite toys there. And they only have good toys there at Good Vibes. And they also have a little discreet. When you're searching for vibes, it says discreet, and you can look at some there too. So I'm glad you guys want to spice things up with a little baby.
Go to your website. Like, there's literally thousands of dollars in savings on all your banners.
That's
like,
true.
Everything that
Every
you've
banner.
ever suggested, and all your hand-picked sponsors, they're all right there, curated and there for the listener.
I never talk about anything that I haven't tried and that I don't like.
Right.
I'm not pushing. I'm not a pusher. That's what we got time for, Anderson. Tell me about you and your 16 podcasts this week.
Yeah, I have
I'm
three.
so glad to make time for me.
Other than this one, I got
Okay.
three.
They're not as important. But...
Cinematics got some really good movies. Two really good movies that I'm talking about this week. One is Demolition with Jake Gyllenhaal, which is all about him coming to terms with losing his wife. Sounds really heavy, but it's hilarious.
Okay,
And he
I've heard about
kills it.
this.
And more importantly, Hardcore Henry is a movie coming out that you guys, everyone's going to know about Hardcore Henry. It's like no movie you've ever seen before. Guys especially. It's 100% POV shot with a GoPro, and it is
No
really
way.
good.
Show the GoPro. Wow.
It's made by this crazy Russian. Hardcore Henry is going to be in your face. Everyone's
Okay,
gonna love it.
Cinematics. Check it out.
Cinematics.
Okay, do it. Okay, thanks, Anderson.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, producer Madison and Lori and Jamie and Nina and all the great people. Thanks for listening. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com. Oh, wait. I did not say to follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube.
I'll tell you
It's
that.
all at
No?
Sex with Emily. Just do that because it's so fun.
It's so fun.
Oh, one more thing.
Well.
We're doing a lot of giveaways this month. So if you want to win toys,
Yes.
like amazing toys,
Hashtag.
you should follow me on all those things. It's at Sex with Emily across the board. Love you all. Bye. Okay, guys. Are you looking for a way to mix up your masturbation routine? Well, let me tell you about the number one sex toy for men, and really, the only one you want. The Fleshlight. It's a masturbation sleeve that you use solo or with a partner that simulates the sensations of real sex and was engineered to look and feel like the real deal. There's a Fleshlight for every man's needs. And now there's a new addition to the Fleshlight family, the Quick Shot. It's an open-ended male masturbator, has the patented super skin material, but the Quick Shot is smaller, easier to handle, and requires way less cleanup. It can be used solo or with a partner to take handjobs and blowjobs to the next level. I think that for every woman who has a sex toy, every man should have one of these. Go to sexwithemily.com, click on the Fleshlight banner, and use code EMILY to get a free bottle of their award-winning Flesh Lube. Check it out. You'll thank me.